I know that Betty and James love Stephen Curtis Chapman and Mary Beth Chapman, his wife of many, many years, and have had them on the program. And they are just some of the most powerful people of God you will ever meet. And perhaps you are familiar with their book, the one that Mary Beth actually wrote, Choose to See, about the story of their loss of Maria, their 5-year-old daughter, in the accident involving their son in the car, and the terrible tragedy that took place as the enemy tried to take down that entire family, but every bit of that is turning back on him. And I've got to tell you something that happened because it just showed to me what I'm about to explain to you is one reason amid 1,000 that I love Jesus Christ so much for. I mean, this is the kind of thing that just blows my mind about him. A number of months back, I was sleeping regular all night, and I need you to know something. In all of these 53 years of living, I just never have had a meaningful dream. And it's not been because I haven't asked for them. If there is a manifestation of God or the Spirit, I've somewhere asked for it. I mean, I'm just going like, I will. And most of the time he goes, you know what? Some people are safer with the word on the page. And so he just, I tell you what we're going to do with you. We're not going to loose a dream on you. So I go all these years and I'll ask him, oh Lord, teach me in my dreams over and over. Let me have a dream of you tonight. I wake up the next morning, he goes, in the scriptures. And so that's how we do things. But this particular night, like every other night, it happened just before the morning. A friend of mine was telling me just a little while ago about a dream she had, and she said it also happened just before she awakened, and we think that so we'll remember it. And I had a dream, and I saw Mary Beth Chapman in my dream. And it was the oddest thing because I was in an arena, the likes of which I've spoken in many, many times through Living Proof Live. It was a large arena, and the back of the stage was like everyone I've so often seen. All these heavy cords, all the gaff tape down on it, all the sound tables, all the machinery that it takes, all the lighting, the men back behind it. I can see in my dream all of their head sets on so they can talk to one another. A scene that I have seen more times than I can possibly count. But I was back there with it, and I was sitting on the edge of one of the tables watching everything, and I was feeling my own heart, and it was interesting. I was not nervous. And I get very nervous before I speak. I've never somehow conquered that. It just is scary. And I tend to think like, you should be a little scared. When it's a lot of people, that's like, whoa, that's a big responsibility. And so I knew in my dream I was not the one speaking because I was not afraid. I didn't have any, and I wasn't thinking over notes. And I have recurring dreams of speaking all the time, and I'm all up in it. I can feel all my emotions. I could wake up and my neck could be splotched. So I thought, I'm not the one speaking. And so I'm thinking this in my dream. I see Mary Beth and Maria walk up in the dream. As clear as could be, I can tell you exactly what Maria had on in the dream. Comes up with Mary Beth. Maria's right to her side, right about that 5 years old, kind of has on a big white collar, those chunky bangs are down in her face, and she just kicking around and laughing. And they come to talk to Mary Beth, and even a guy that I work with all the time was talking to her, and I could tell that she was the one about to speak. And Maria was just like twisting her almost into a pretzel right there. And I was beholding this whole thing and thinking how I could not wait to hear it. And boom, I awakened. And I mean, in that moment, my eyes popped open like this. I'm holding the covers up like this, and I thought, whoa. I knew it meant something. I knew that it did. I thought that I even maybe knew what it was. I thought that maybe it was God showing me in a dream that part of the Chapman's healing, and specifically Mary Beth Chapman's healing, would be that she would minister hope through what she had been through, and that people would be able to see how it had turned back on the enemy and glory had come to God and good had come to mankind. And I felt like somehow her healing is going to come in part through her pouring it out. Now, you need to know something. Mary Beth was not speaking at this time. This is not her thing. It's not, her husband was the one out front. It was not her. So this was very out of the box, but I just was certain of it. And I didn't think that, that somehow Maria was some kind of ghost next to Mary Beth. I knew that Maria was in heaven. I knew that the symbol of her in the dream was that in telling that story and in telling the redemption and healing God brought, that there would be healing to her soul and that their joyous memories about Maria would be restored and they would overtake the ones of such tragedy and such a violent kind of injury. And so I was like, whoa, what do I do with this? What am I supposed to do with that? And so I was just like baffled before God. I thought, well, okay, you gave it to me. You're going to have to tell me what to do. I don't know what to do with it. Well, a couple of days later, it was Mary Beth Chapman's birthday. And so I thought, I'm going to text her. I was at an event, and I knew she had a big thing that weekend too. But I texted her. I said, happy birthday, my friend. And I said, listen, I was really nervous even when I texted. I said, I had a dream, and I don't have dreams. And I just want to ask you if it has any significance to you, and if it's not a confirmation, because I don't think God works that way. I don't think he just tells it to somebody else. I think it comes as a confirmation. I said, if it's confirmation, great. If it's not, dump it. Don't trust it. So she writes me back and she said, that is very interesting. When are you going to call me? I said, well, I'll call you after I get home. Okay, I call her and I'm nervous. I'm nervous because when someone has lost a child, even saying their name, you better have a good reason. Because that's tender. Don't mess with the mother's heart. Don't mess with the father's heart. Some of you know just what I'm talking about. I thought, I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to knock this scab off this wound. And I just, so my heart was just pounding. I said, okay, Mary Beth, let me tell you this. And so I went through the whole dream, every detail of it, and then dead silence. I said, well, now, I don't know for sure what it means, but I thought maybe it meant, and I began to say, dead silence. I said, whoo, I mean, the perspiration is breaking out on my face. I'm thinking, okie doke, okie doke. Suddenly, boom, she begins to sob. And when she starts sobbing, I start crying, and I'm going like, whoa, what? And she said, and Stephen is sitting right next to her because I talked to him before I talked to her. And she said, Beth, you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. She said, a few nights ago, y'all stay with me here, a few nights ago, they were with a pastor friend of theirs. And she said she just was having a bad day. Y'all seeing the chills coming up on my arms? And she said she had talked to Stephen Curtis, and she told her husband, I just want to dream about her. I just want to see her in a dream and feel like I'm with her again. And so Stephen said to their minister friend, it was the three of them together, he said, listen, could you just pray with us about this? Because God can say no, but could we ask God, would you just give Mary Beth a dream of Maria so that she could just see her for a few split seconds? Y'all need to know something. God did not give it to her. He gave it to me for her. Stay with me here. Stay with me here. Because do you know what would happen to a mother that only saw her child that had died in a dream? I don't know about you, but I'd want to go to sleep and I would not want to wake up. It was too early in the process. There might come a time for Mary Beth when it would be the most wonderful thing on earth to have dreams like that, and she'd wake up with joy. Right now, if I were her, I'd want to go to bed and not get up. But you know what he did? Y'all, we figured it out. It was the same night. They prayed that night. That morning, just before I woke up, I had the dream. He gave it to somebody that Mary Beth she trusts me. Whether or not she should, she does. She knew I wasn't making it up. And she just bawled and bawled. And I was so flabbergasted. I said, does it confirm anything? She said, Beth, she said, Stephen Curtis has been telling me. She said, my daughter's been telling me that God is calling me to speak. And she said, I've just not been receiving it. And she dealt with that part of the information later, but all that meant anything to her right then was she had the dream. God did hear my prayer. He did hear my prayer. He did give the dream. He just gave it to my friend instead of me. I tell you, when we hung up, I drove home. I just bawled. I said, oh, God, that you would do that for a mother. And you took another mom, because it kind of took two women together to do the thing. I don't know who else it would have meant all that much to, but the two of us together, that you let two moms have a moment like that. That, girlfriend, is loving kindness. That, guy friend, is some loving kindness. Kindness has a good memory.